Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business. I'm really looking forward to talking with Michele Blood today. Michele, it's great to connect with you. Your company, Michele's Musivation International, LLC. And we're going to be diving into kind of the mystical experience and manifesting and affirmations and just a lot of things that we can do from the inside out in our world, both in our life and in our business. You have a really, really interesting background. I want to just read it real quickly. Successful songwriter, writer, and rock singer in Australia. After a near fatal car accident while in the hospital with many serious injuries, you created positive affirmation songs, which not only healed your body, but also took you to worldwide success. The affirmation songs basically affect your left and right hemispheres of the brain, and the lyrics, the left hemisphere, and the melody and the music, the right hemisphere. So the new positive messages that went straight to the subconscious mind. It's why millions of people worldwide have downloaded your affirmation power songs. These songs cover healing, success, money, joy, confidence, and they uplift the person immediately. All right, let's kind of dive into that. You know, as a business coach, I work with people who are successful but stuck, and I work with them to get them unstuck. And when it comes, I think sometimes to affirmations and mantras, I think sometimes people get stuck because they think, they don't work. They don't work. And here we have, you have all of this evidence that yes, it actually does work. I actually believe in them, but how do you get somebody unstuck? I want to start here to just surrender and believe.
Well, you cannot make someone surrender and believe. They have to be at a point where they're willing to do anything to get unstuck. They want to have, they want to change and they don't know how to. And that's why I love the affirmations with the music, because you don't have to sing along. You don't have to believe. It is scientific fact. On my website, I've got so much scientific information from Johns Hopkins, Berkeley, that music with positive lyrics, which I was the first person to actually do it literally as an affirmation. So it really works 300 times faster than any other method to get the affirmation into the subconscious mind. Because if the person doesn't believe, and they're doing an affirmation like saying to themselves, oh, I'm so successful, I'm a magnet to money, and my life is beautiful, and they're looking around and they're not seeing what they're saying, well, then the doubting mind spits it out. Sometimes it vomits it out. It's like, that's not true. And it has to go into the subconscious mind for it to implant that new thought, until eventually that new thought blossoms. And before the people know it, they're singing along, I'm a magnet to money. And they're singing along to that they're successful, rock and roll music and pop music with all these different affirmations. And it works so powerfully. I have doctors that do this all the time, and they actually suggest to their patients who are depressed to listen to my music. And I have it on, we've developed all these wonderful apps as well. So the person doesn't even have to remember to listen. It just every hour or every 6 hours or however they put their notifications in. They've got morning meditations. They've got an evening sleep program. They just listen to it as they go to sleep. They've got the affirmation songs. We've just done an app actually that's free for anyone called Affirmation Power App from the Apple Store. It's free, and you get the music videos with the affirmation songs. You get tons of affirmations with the music underneath, and free ebooks and lots of things. So even if someone, if they want to go deeper, well, then I recommend the Manifestation Video Book app, because you get to watch. It's the world's first video book. You get to watch images, because we think in pictures and patterns. So whatever we're looking at the most, so if you're looking around yourself and you're not seeing the change that you want in your environment, for example, but if you watch it on a video, you're getting to see the visuals, because the mind doesn't know the difference between a picture and what's real. It really doesn't. And I love, John, I love so much that when I first started teaching this, it hadn't been proven scientifically, and now it has. So just listen to the music and let that get into your subconscious mind, and you don't have to have faith, you don't have to believe it's going to work, it just will go into your subconscious mind. And wouldn't you rather have positive affirmations about that your success and that you love your life, and that you're one with everything, and that you take divine action, you work hard and you love it, you're on
Yeah.
purpose. You want that in your mind. And eventually, if it goes into the subconscious mind, it becomes a belief, a new positive belief. And your frequency, because everyone has a frequency, your vibration, whether you believe it or not, I'm telling you, it's been scientifically proven now that quantum physics have discovered that we are consciousness. It's like, oh, Buddha was teaching that quite a while ago. Thank you, scientists. And so, yeah, it just works. And I have people all over the world that love them.
Let's back up. I love everything you're talking about. Just for fundamental purposes, can you describe to people for those who don't know or maybe don't fully know, what the subconscious mind is versus the conscious mind?
Yeah, the subconscious mind takes in everything that we have learned in our lifetime. It just sits there like a supercomputer with all this information. And so at a subconscious, you'll hear someone say, oh, they're subconsciously doing that. They're like doing a negative thing on themselves. They're putting themselves in a corner. They don't have the confidence, because what's been built up in the subconscious mind, the beliefs that have been implanted there since childhood, become who you are as an adult. And so if you have been in a negative situation a lot, or had negative teachers or parents, and you've been fed, and then you start feeding yourself the negative things, you start complaining instead of looking at what's in front of you and what you can do to make a change. People get into the point of complaining because in their subconscious mind, there's not enough positivity for them to jump over that hill, whatever that hill is or mountain it is, and you want to take one step at a time. And you have to, if you want to have change, because if your conscious mind is then, you're thinking about a lot of stuff. It's like some things just get spat out. If your conscious mind does not believe what you're saying, it won't go into the subconscious mind. It'll just be in the short-term memory, and then it'll be spat out, which is why myself and Mick Jagger, we always sing our songs when we get an idea straight onto a little cassette player. And for those youngsters, just Google cassette player. If you don't know what that is. Anyway, so because otherwise, the bright idea that you've just had for a new business or a song or whatever it is, creatively, if you don't write it down or record it, it will go out into the hemisphere. It's gone, short-term memory. So in the subconscious mind is the long-term memory, and that's what has to be changed.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, because people's attention span is very short. They say now less than a goldfish, less than 7 seconds, about 6 seconds. And the short-term memory is going, but yet a lot of us, me included, we have these memories that are 20, 30, 40 years old that are stuck in the subconscious. So what you're saying is the affirmations that you have. What was the first app you had, the affirmations?
Affirmation Power app.
Affirmations Power app.
Affirmation Power app.
Power app. They help basically heal that.
Yeah. Well, they don't help heal it. You could say it in that way. It doesn't really make any difference how verbiage we use, right. But it helps tremendously to build up new positive thoughts, so that the older ones, they won't dissipate. They won't be lost forever. There are certain things you can do through deep meditation, etc., to release them, but that's a lot of work. And I do teach how to do that so that you've got rid of the old stuff completely. But the musical affirmation songs, and just listening to them over and over again. And the way I've got it, you can speak them with the music underneath. You can repeat them after me, or you can just have it going while you're making lunch. Yeah. And it's just going straight into your subconscious mind. And before you know it, you're like, wow, I really feel better today. What's going on? And every
Yeah.
day you begin to feel a little better. And as you take positive action and you remember to say an affirmation every morning or put a big sign up, I don't care what you do. I love my beautiful life. Wake up saying that, and if you've got the app doing it for you, you don't even have to remember and you don't even have to feel like you want to do it. You just listen.
I love
I
it.
love technology.
I love technology too. Well, this was a great way for people to get unstuck. Understanding the subconscious mind is where the long term is held. We have affirmations, we have money affirmations, and places that we can get some great tools. I love that. I love that, Michele. Thank you so much. Let's talk about lessons for a minute. I'm a big believer in lessons, and I think lessons can actually shift because doing some of the work that you're talking about, when we get into a higher frequency, then our perspective changes of things. And I think we can actually look back and can change the past by changing our perspective of the present. And so as you look at your business, as you look at yourself, or as you look at clients, what's one of the biggest lessons that maybe, that helped shape you to get you to where you are today?
Nothing is impossible. It doesn't matter what your background, your culture. I've worked in over 26 countries. It doesn't matter your religious beliefs. You can change. Things can change for you, but you have to take the first step. And it's just that some people don't think, and particularly family members, sometimes they think they know you and they put you psychologically into a box. And because we're all very, very interconnected, it doesn't help if we're around people that think they know us and that we don't change. Oh, I know you. You always lose your keys because you lost your keys once when you were 15, you know?
Yeah.
So it's important to surround yourself with either on your own to start with, but don't have people that are naysayers or negative, and don't ask people's opinions. If they aren't a brilliant piano player, why would you ask them to teach you piano? If you don't ask family members their opinion, unless they're really brilliant people that are really good friends, because
Yeah.
most people will say, well, you can't do that. You've never done it before. And of course you can. You can learn anything. These days, I mean, my goodness, you go to YouTube, you learn how to change your own tire, spark plugs, write a book, everything. I mean, we have everything that we could possibly need to learn. It's just one step at a time, just like we learn our ABCs. You can change.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. And I think sometimes, one of this, and I saw it was on your site. When I was 18 years old, my dad gave me a set of tapes that's by Brian Tracy called The Psychology of Success. And it transformed my whole life. It was a very pivotal part for me in my life. But one of the very first things he said is, if somebody else has done it, you can do it. And I thought, oh, that makes great sense. That makes great sense. So, I've kind of always had that philosophy. And as I get older, now that I'm in my early 50s, I feel it even stronger. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing that. Let's talk about mentorship for a minute. You've had an amazing career. The work you do inherently is mentoring other people. Your apps are mentoring people all over the world that you may not even ever meet. And so what mentor had a big impact on you in your life that you can point to had some level of impact on you today?
Goodness. Rock stars, certain rock singers, songwriters, that I would, meticulously go over how they wrote songs. Like, oh, geez, there's so many, but a lot of, musicians, definitely. As far as positive thinking and all that sort of thing, I would have to say Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote Autobiography of a Yogi. That really changed the trajectory of my life and what it meant to be a spiritual being. I didn't have any mentors per se. I was just doing my own thing all the time, but I would read a lot of books that I read. Play of Consciousness by Swami Muktananda, St. Teresa of Avila, interior castle. I was very much into the spirituality side of Stuart Wilde too. I think a lot of his books, and I ended up working with him. And Bob Proctor, of course, I worked with him for 7 years straight in Malaysia. I ran his business for him, got his book to be a bestseller. So he always used to say I was mentoring him and he was mentoring me, because I was turning his seminars into a rock concert.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So just so many different areas of life. I have taken all the information. I've always been a great reader. I'm always about 3 books a week. I'm tossing between. So there's so much great information and wonderful people that have got, I like them when they've got a good sense of humor, and that they've actually, if you're going to go to a mentor, you want to make sure that they've done it themselves. Like I said before, the analogy of you don't go to a piano player, a piano teacher who can't play piano. Make sure that they're not just memorizing something that they've been taught. It's important to know that they have had the experience themselves, because then you will get someone who truly wants to share it with you because they've done it themselves. If they haven't done it themselves, I've seen so much plagiarizing over the years. I mean, I saw just unbelievable stuff. Like Bob Proctor used to get plagiarized so much by people. And I said to him once, you don't worry about it. He says, I don't care. He said, as long as somebody is being assisted and someone's used my information, they've made a book out of it and someone's read it from that book, he said, I don't care. That doesn't worry me at all, as long as people are improving their lives. And that's what I call a great person.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about your app for a moment. Well, I just want to get the name of the app right. I'm a Magnet to Money.
The Magnet to Money app is fantastic. It's got the Magnet to Money song notifications. As I said, tons of morning 8-minute meditations that you just listen along to me. You're focusing on one topic for each day, a different topic that will bring you into focus and purpose. And the sleep program is amazing. People adore it. I don't even know how many people are listening to it all the time. But my developer, Holly, says just people from all over the globe listening to that every night. And then all the affirmations on that as well. But my favorite app is actually Manifestation Video app. It has all these, I wrote this book called Manifestation Through the Power of Mysticism. I wrote a book. Then I did the audio program. And then let's make a video of each chapter. Let's make it into a video book. So each chapter, you hear the voice, me speaking the book, and then you see the words, and then you actually see the images of what I'm saying. So if I'm talking about money, you'll see money in all these different, countries. You'll see happiness and people buying homes, sold house, and then at the end of each chapter is a music video with one of my affirmation pop songs. So it is, no one's ever done it before in the world. I did not know that at the time. And it's so quick, because the thing is, if you're watching the visuals, you're listening to the music, and you're listening to someone speaking about all this positivity, covering intuition, business, you name it, well, then your doubting mind does not have a chance to get rid of it, and you're focused on it, because people like watching something. And you were talking before about people don't have attention, but they do with this video book. They watch it continuously. So I say to people, watch at least a chapter a day, and it will, keep the fleas away.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. And so let's do a mini business course on manifestation. Because you said earlier, you can want it, but it may not happen, and you can say it and it may not happen. But let's kind of put in this course 3 effective ways to really manifest everything you want. What would number 1 be?
Well, number 1 would be find out what you want.
Yeah.
You can't be just, I just want money, just want a good business. Find out what you want and why you want it, and how you're going to do it will be later. But don't look at, I can't do it because of this. I can't do it. Don't listen to the word can't ever again. don't use the word I'll try it, because if you invite someone to a party and they say I'll try to get there, you know they're not coming. So you get rid of the word try, and it's really important to find out what it is that you want, and then you'll work out how you're going to get that. And one of the things that you can do, because the mind is pliable, it will take in information if you ask it. That's how scientists work out information. They, or inventors, I should say, more than scientists, they go into a dark room and they ask the question, how can I do this? And then they go into what I call meditation, but they just say silence in the darkness. They have a pencil with them. This is what inventors have been doing for hundreds of years. And then they write down the answer. It comes to them. And they don't leave the room till it comes to them. Another thing you can do is every night before you go to sleep, you write down the thing that you want as if it's already happened, and you give thanks for it. And if you want to go even deeper, I've got Bob Proctor and I did an action and goal setting exercise, which I can ask Trevor to add as a freebie for your listeners. If you go through this and do it every day, every single day for 30 days, you don't miss one day of writing down. We teach you how to get them down into action steps, because people think a goal is like the thing, but there's tiny little action steps to reach that goal. Like if you're going to create a book or a website, you don't just put, I'm creating a website. You write down all the little action steps that are required for you to do and it's very, very, very simple. I'm a simple person. KISS. Keep it simple and spiritual. Yeah. So that turbocharged goal setting in action, I will ask Trevor to add that as a freebie. If you go through that for 30 days and you do it every single day, I mean, the first time I did it, when I created it, I stopped at day 28 because there was a gig on or something. I started again. You've got to go 1 to 30 all the way through. And if you do that, you're going to change tremendously and you'll begin to take action. You'll actually make it happen.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, everything that you talked about is, we need to actually do the work and the writing and the and making it very real. I think that's so important. I think sometimes people just think if they think it, but they got to do the work to pause and find the space and write it down. And and really, because when it's written down or spoken about, it's put into the universe, and the universe will kind of bring it back. Talk about signs and how to listen to the universe.
Yeah, we've got intuition, and that intuition is making us in tune with the universe, in tune with the omniscience that is everywhere, that omniscient wisdom that we can tap into. And I look at it like this, John. We've got this soul, this spirit, this higher consciousness, and it's coated with all of the stuff that we were talking about in the subconscious mind, the hurts, the things. And so people can't feel that they want to make a decision and they can't make a decision. Do I go left? Do I go right? Because their diamond is blocked. And one of the things that the affirmations do and the morning meditations is they help clear off your diamond, because you cannot feel the diamond if it's covered with sludge from the old thoughts. And so you've got to, first of all, get yourself clear. And I highly recommend people exercising. It will clear your mind so quickly. Dance around, do Pilates, go jogging, go disco dancing like I used to love to do. Do whatever it takes to keep your physicality going, because that's important for your brain. Remember to drink as much water as you can, because when you're thirsty, your brain is dehydrated by 70%. And the brain has to stay hydrated for you to be able to think and to be in tune and to be focused.
Yeah, I love it. Let's do a quick speed round. A book. You mentioned a couple, but the number one book that you would say had the biggest impact on you?
Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda.
Okay. Give a 1 minute why.
Well, it was the first time I'd been living in Asia. I was running Bob Proctor's business from there. I was very, very successful. I even had new hit records in different languages, and being asked to share the stage with all these people from all over the world. And there was something within me that was missing. it was like soul sickness or something. I had everything going, but there was still, my purpose wasn't really concrete yet. So somebody suggested reading, Stuart Wilde actually suggested reading. He said, "Do you know about enlightenment?" I said, "I know about Jesus Christ." And he said, "Well, there's more than just one enlightened person in this world. Yogananda was a great enlightened being." And so when I read his autobiography of a yogi, I was so into it. You know what I'm saying, John? When you hear or read something in the marrow of your bones, you know, even though you've never heard of it before, you're hearing truth. You just feel it within yourself, and that's intuition. Yeah. And he's talking about his whole journey, his whole life, and enlightenment, and about Babaji and all these different. I didn't know about any of these beings. I'd only been brought up with Jesus Christ, and how he traveled the world looking for other enlightened ones, and it was just so fascinating to me. I just read every spiritual book I could after that, because that was my new thing that gave me inner fulfillment, because I was doing all these things and I wasn't feeling the inner fulfillment anymore. Yeah. And I think sometimes we need to stretch ourselves, do something that's a little scary, because if we're doing something and we can just do it easily and effortlessly, even though to the rest of the world it looks like it's impossible what you're doing, well, you've got to do something a little scary. You've got to get out of your comfort zone, because otherwise you're not growing. You're not on purpose, and you won't feel, because success is fulfillment. It's inner fulfillment. It's not the money. It's not all those other, they're nice little things, but it's how you feel inside that makes you a successful person in every area of your life. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Nothing is impossible.
Finish this sentence. Last question. How can everybody get into a state of mind where they believe that nothing is impossible?
By cleaning up this diamond, by listening to great affirmation music by Michele Blood.
All right, good. I'll take that. I'll take that. That's great. That's great. Michele, this was great. I enjoyed our talk. I love these types of talks, because I think sometimes what you talked about today is so simple, it's complicated. And it just requires a little bit of consistency. You know, you've created these apps that are just handing it to people. They don't have to search for it. They don't have to look for it. All they have to do is go to their phone and press a button. Think Community. What I would recommend is let's give them all the apps again. So the Affirmation Power app, Manifestation Video Book app, and Magnet to Money app, all on Apple Store. We don't, at this stage, it's just all for iPhones, because it's the greatest technology for apps. What's the manifestation one?
Manifestation Video Book app.
Video book
and
app.
And I've got a link, because I'm giving you guys the Manifestation Video Book, my favorite chapter, Are You a Mystic? The Magic of Affirmation Power, one of my best-selling books, and my Songs for Success album that I actually wrote with Bob Proctor. He did a lot of the lyrics. And as I said, I'm going to add the turbocharged goal setting, all of that for free for your listeners, your watchers. Michele Blood, MicheleBlood.com/think business.
All right. I love it. I love it. And so what I want to say is all you got to do, Think Community, is maybe just time block 5 minutes a day, 6 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day, 1 minute a day to really just kind of get started on this. Because I find sometimes that consistency is the hardest part of the game for people. And 100%. So, right. So here it is for you, and take advantage of it, because these are beautiful gifts. And Michele, I'm grateful and appreciative to have you on the show. Thank you so much for talking about, how to go within and the power that we all have within us. And if we just take a little bit of time, we can access it. So take some time, Think Community, and access the power within. Michele, tell everybody again where they can connect with you, learn more about you and everything else.
MicheleBlood.com.
I love it. I love it. And you can reach me, everybody, at johndwoskin.com. Michele, thanks. This was great. I loved it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, John. Awesome.
Thanks.